Hello friends, I am That Brit Rick, and this week I'm going to share with you the best tips that I have for starting out in Foundation. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more video game content. One of the most helpful quality of life features in Foundation that doesn't exist in many modern city builders is the move tool. Sometimes you place an industry building at the start of the game in what appears to be a great location, only to discover after an hour or two that it could benefit from being closer to another building, or you just need that space for something else. In most city builders, you would merely destroy the building and place a new one, but in Foundation that doesn't have to be the case. You can simply edit the building, click on the base of the building itself, click and drag it to the desired location, and confirm. Whilst it does cost a little gold and resources, it is still cheaper than building a new one, plus it maintains the workers inside. This even works for larger buildings with sub-buildings. You just need to move every single piece of that collection to the new location before you can confirm the move. Next up, keeping in theme with building practices, bigger is always better, with emphasis on height. There are many benefits to building upward rather than outward. Space is somewhat of a luxury early game, with very few territories unlocked. Many buildings will benefit from vertical expansions, for example, your rustic church. By default, the largest room you can place only offers a church capacity of 24, which in an ever-growing city will not do. But did you know that you can adjust the sizes of many of these building parts? By raising the height of the church pieces, you can increase the maximum capacity at the expense of only a few extra resources. If you find yourself in need of more services, patrols, tax collectors, etc., don't build another building, just raise the height of pre-existing buildings to meet the new demand. This will save you precious land space. Speaking of precious land space, my next tip, equally as important as the last, clipping, is heavily encouraged. One of the coolest features that Foundation has that most city builders don't is the freedom to build and customize your city the way that you want. Part of this is due to the ability of clipping your buildings. To save space and more importantly increase productivity, you can clip buildings together to create not only a seamless skyline, but industrial megastructures. For example, your wheat farm, windmill, and bakery already share the same production line, but what if we made them share the same footprint? Not only does this look cool, it does reduce the time villagers spend traveling between buildings, therefore increasing the productivity of that production chain. Other smart synergies include your lumber and forester camp, your weaver and tailor, and even your iron smelter and blacksmith. Don't be afraid to rotate your buildings and merge the walls. As long as the white entry point arrows are unobstructed, your villagers will still be able to enter those buildings. Keeping in theme with space efficiency, housing density, you can increase the density of your housing, allowing more villagers per building by providing fortification and patrols. Watchpost sub-buildings in your manor houses will allow the recruitment of patrollers and watchmen. These patrollers will patrol an assigned area and provide security to the homes that they visit, fulfilling one requirement for increasing their housing density, but you will still require fortification. Whilst you can place watchtowers across your city, these do provide fortification, but also require your patrollers to stop at them for a set period of time, potentially reducing the efficiency of your patrollers early game. An effective and affordable supplement to this is towers. Buildings like your Great Hall, tax office, bailiff office, etc. can be built with tower buildings. These towers provide passive, light fortification to homes that surround them. The taller the tower, the larger the radius. This will give you a great kickstart before you can place down walls, which are expensive and take a long time to build. And because they are passive, they will not take up any of your patrollers' precious time, allowing even more homes to be patrolled sooner. For my next tip, monitor your villager needs. As you promote your villagers, their needs and requirements also increase. If you promote too many people too quickly, their needs may not be met, causing them to leave, thus leaving your buildings unmanned and halting production, causing even more people to leave, and so on. Most of these requirements are easy to meet, housing, water and service for example, but I would suggest that you keep a close eye on your food and entertainment. Serfs are easy to please as long as they have have a home, water, and one type of rustic food, they will stay. But your commoners and citizens, though, are a little bit more picky, requiring 2 and 3 types of refined foods. Meat, bread, and cheese are your refined food, each with their own production chains and requirements. Keeping your supply above your demand will pose a challenge, as it is easy to grow too fast. My suggestion here, if you can afford to do so, is set your traded resources to import up to an amount above your current demand. This way, if you don't produce enough, you will import the rest to guarantee that your villagers' needs are met. This isn't cheap though, so use the time that this buys you to double down on your production. Add more wheat farms, more dairy farms, and set up more hunters' huts. It is better to have too much and trade it out if needed than to have too little. A slightly more confusing mechanic, but one that rewards a little variety, is the progression tree. With buildings, resources, taxes, and privileges being locked behind milestones, it can be confusing at first to comprehend how these are obtained. But don't worry, I've got you covered. Your common path is simple. It is unlocked with gold coins. If you have them, these will grant access to the basics that you will need to establish a town. Each tier requires a minimum prosperity. Prosperity can be gained by increasing your wealth, your territories, commerce, population, splendor, and beautification. These will increase as you progress and expand, but the other tech trees are a little bit more specific. Labor, kingdom, and clergy are the 3 separate tech trees available to you, each with different splendor and influences. To increase your splendor is similar to beautification. Adding decorations to your manor house, castle, or monastery grants their respective splendor. This encourages you to spend a little bit more time decorating these grander buildings, but early game it can be rather expensive, costing gold coins. A simple suggestion would be rose bushes. They only cost 5 gold, but they do increase your splendor by 1 and are available for all buildings. Depending on your access to tools, you can also add things like weather vanes to labor buildings, crosses at your monastery, or porches at your castle. This can quickly help you reach the next tier in the tech trees. Though, unlike the common path, these will require influence, not gold coins. Influence can be obtained by completing quests and missions, and even using mandates to manipulate your influence, though there is a gradual influence shift over time too. Prioritize obtaining the techs that will benefit you the most first, as influence can take a while to get back. Paved roads, for example, are a requirement for high quality homes. I do hope these tips will help you get a better start in Foundation. Are there any tips that you have that I should know? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for even more videos. That's all I have for you now. I'm That Brit Rick, and until next time.